Hello and welcome to Brick Speak. I'm your host, Brigadier Rakesh Bhatia. In today's episode, we will introduce you to a subject known as operational art and its application. As you are aware, this is included in the minor study of your military history examination. We will be covering the evolution of operational art, the book which is recommended in the syllabus, along with official history of operations in Jammu and Kashmir 1947-48 and biography of Field Marshal K.M. Karyappa by Brigadier C.D. Khanduri. In addition, Surrender Was the Thread is the recommended book which would also be covered in upcoming episodes of this channel. I would also like you to please subscribe if you are new to the channel, press the like button, and also share with your friends. As I had said, today we are diving into a new subject, which is an essential aspect of military strategy that you will encounter throughout your careers: operational art. This might be a new concept for some of you, but by the end of our session, I hope you will have a solid grasp of what operational art is, why it matters, and how it applies to your future role as military leaders. As Frederick the Great, monarch of Prussia, said in 1747, war is not an affair of chance. A great deal of knowledge, study, and meditation is necessary to conduct it well. The topic of operational art will be covered in part 1 today, wherein we will talk about the difference between art and science. You would be wondering that for your entrance examination, you are studying military science, and today you are introduced to operational art. We will try and find out what is the difference between art and science and how these two combine to give a logical sequence of event to win a war. We will also talk about what are the levels of war, that is, what is the strategic, operational, and tactical levels. Talking about operational art, it is the ability to translate tactical actions into strategic success. It is a bridge which gaps the battlefield tactics and the larger national objective. In the upcoming episode, we will cover what do you understand by center of gravity? How do we identify it? And after identifying, what to do with it? Let's first find out what is the difference between art and science. As it is said about art, art is in the eye of beholder, and science deals in absolutes. While art is subjective, which is based on personal feelings, opinions, or biases, science is objective, which is based on factual, unbiased, and measurable observations. Art is non-linear. That means it proceeds in a complex, interconnected way where changes can produce unpredictable outcomes. Whereas science is linear, that is, step by step manner it proceeds with a predictable outcome. Art is holist, that is, it focuses on understanding systems as a whole, emphasizing the interconnection among parts, whereas science is reductionism, that is, you break down a complex system into individual components and then analyze it one by one and try and find out connections between them. Art is a journey as if you're seeing the forest, whereas science is the destination where you are seeing each tree and trying to find out the composition of the forest. Both art and science are not competitive, but necessary and complementary. Neither is a bad way to think, but trick is in knowing when to use one or the other. Let's take cricket as an example to find out the difference between art and science. Science explains the biomechanics and also the physics to know why a ball swing. Using science, you can analyze footwork and hence master the batting. Science helps you to understand the angles, speed, and timing required for hitting or delivering the ball effectively. Coaches often analyze data and optimize a player's performance. As far as art is concerned, it is the ability to adapt, think on feet, and make an unexpected shot under pressure or adapting to different bowling styles by a player. There are certain players whose execution is graceful and creative. How it is done is because they are able to interpret the science in a better way than the others. However, it remains a gray area where personal style and instinct comes into play. Therefore, one must master the science before becoming an artist. A complete cricket player first masters and understands the scientific aspects like technique and precision. And thereafter, he adds unique flair and creativity, hence blending science with art to become a true artist on the field. Sir William Francis Butler, an Irish general, said, "The nation that will insist on drawing a broad line between the fighting man and the thinking man is liable to find its fighting done by fools and its thinking done by cowards." Let's now understand the levels. There are three levels of warfare. Strategic. It could be the highest, like CCS, that is Cabinet Committee on Security. The highest level as far as armed forces are concerned is at command level. It determines what ends, ways, means, and risk is acceptable and also takes a decision whether to act or not to act. At operational level is finding answers to what is commonly called W questions. What is the problem? What are the solutions? What could be the objective? And what actions or tasks need to be undertaken? When and where to achieve what at the strategic level has been given as a mission. At tactical level, you try to answer how to questions. That is, how to accomplish the given mission. Every level below division, that is, division, brigade, and battalion, fights at tactical level, executing on ground what the operational commander has laid down for the tactical commanders. The component of military art are strategy, operations, and tactics. Operational art falls between strategy and tactics. We will now go through few possible questions. What is operational art? It is the ability to translate tactical actions on the ground into strategic successes. So it is somewhere between tactics and strategy, bridging the gap between what you do on the battlefield and the larger national or strategic objective. Operational art involves arranging forces, timing, space, resources in such a way that it maximizes the impact. This is not just about winning the battles, but about achieving outcomes that lead to the accomplishment of strategic objectives. What are the core components of operational art? The core component of operational art is end state and objective. This is defined at the strategic level. Center of gravity, identify enemy's critical strength or at times critical vulnerabilities. Now, these could be key terrain features, a crucial supply line, or even the morale of their troops. So, we need to focus on these aspects to disrupt enemy effectively. We also need to define decisive points, that is, specific actions or achievements that, if achieved, will significantly tilt the balance in our favor. Now, again, this could be geographical location, control of key resources, or inflicting certain type of damage that lead to enemy collapse. Lines of operations and effort. Operations need to progress in a logical sequence. Lines of operation create that sequence. It could be physical movement or coordinating efforts. These lines allow us to work methodically, achieving the laid down objective. Timing is essential in operational art. We aim to impose our will on the enemy by operating at a pace which the enemy cannot match. A well timed action or maintaining a faster tempo than the adversary can create significant advantage. Operational art also requires a clear assessment of risks. Which risks are worth taking and which are too high to accept? How operational art fits between strategy and tactics? How does operational art differ from tactics and strategy? As you are aware, tactics is what you execute on the battlefield, decisions made in the moment, often at the division, brigade, or battalion level. Whereas the ultimate purpose and positioning of military effort at the national level or alliance level is the strategic level decision. Hence, operational art operates somewhere in between. It's what enables your tactical actions to contribute to achieve strategic outcomes. You are not just taking a hill for the sake of it. You are taking that hill to shape the battlefield in a way that supports your strategy. Let's quickly look at an example of 1948, how Indian Army executed exceptional operational art, and on Pakistan side, it failed to appreciate the importance of operational art. First of all, the unprecedented airlift operations by India resulted in rapid strategic deployment. Whereas Pakistan, the tribal militia, had been used for initial attack, they lacked cohesion and hence resulted in delay. Occupation of Srinagar airport and critical roadways was very important for the Indian Army. As we will learn subsequently, the tribals failed to prioritize capturing of Srinagar airport, hence giving an opportunity to Indian Army to build up forces. There was a coordinated command structure and discipline in India, whereas the Pakistani militias were undisciplined tribal who operated under a disjointed command and therefore weakened their offensive. Indian Army was able to establish robust supply chain with air supply and road convoys, sustaining operations even in harsh winter. Pakistan Army underestimated the logistical challenges of the terrain, leading to lack of sustained momentum. How do you cultivate operational thinking? There are four basic essentials to cultivate operational thinking. These are study military history, understand past campaigns, and see how operational art was applied. Think of bigger picture. That how does a small tactical move fit into the larger operational plan? This can be achieved by constantly wargaming and creating simulated situation and exercise decision making. We also need to be adaptive and flexible because no plan survives contact with enemy. Hence, we need to adjust and respond. With this, I come to the end of today's episode. Please go through this episode thoroughly because this will be the basic on which we will begin our series on operational art. All the best. Keep working hard. Jai Hind.